W.F. Howes presents an unabridged recording of No One Would Do What the Lamberts Have Done by Sophie Hannah, narrated by Gabrielle Glaister, Natalie Husdan, and Joe Thomas.
For Carolyn and Jamie, my dream publishers for 20 years and counting, with lots of love. And for my beloved Chunk Plunkett. Last but not least, for Chunk's furry brother Brewsty, my favourite person in Level 2, and forever my star word.
Part 1. Monday, 16th of September 2024. Connor. PC Connor Chantry was afraid he'd already ruined everything and was about to be sent abruptly on his way. He should have explained to Large first, and only then handed over the bundle of papers. He'd done his best to uncrush them, straighten them out, smooth away creases and brush off what dirt he could. Then he'd arranged them into a rectangular shape, which had taken far longer than he'd expected it to. He'd added 2 red elastic bands, top and bottom. The result was unimpressive. It sat in the middle of Large's desk and seemed to drink in the baffled stares of both men, and yes, Connor checked with himself, those battered pages did look thirsty, in a way those not in the room would have called impossible. Somehow, increasing the tidiness of the bundle's presentation had achieved the opposite of what Connor had wanted. The document, was that the right name for a few hundred pages? Should he think of it as something else? A book? Looked nothing like the sort of pristine, sharp-cornered contender he'd hoped to create. Contender? Words were appearing in Connor's head that he was sure hadn't been there before he'd read the thing. Ideas, too. Like this one. The spruced-up, rectangularized heap looked as if it was trying to mock convention, as if it had scuffed itself and kicked itself about a bit in an act of deliberate defiance. Even to Connor, its curator, it seemed to be saying, "And your point is?" Whereas the mess of maimed and defeated pages he'd seen on first opening the box had screamed a different message at him. "Pay attention! Help! Put me together!" There was a strong chance, of course, that he was imagining some of this. He wished he'd brought in the soggy box, exactly as he'd received it, and without reading any of the contents, and simply handed it over. "Above my pay grade," he could have said as he'd passed the problem on to Large. Who was he kidding? He couldn't have done that. The possibility hadn't occurred to him because it had never existed. He'd felt duty-bound to drop.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?